So I've had a lot of people in the comment section leave requests for me to do a video on the Joker trailer that came out last week. And the reason why I haven't already done a video on it, giving my thoughts and whatnot, is because there was too much going on this week. There was a lot of videos that I had already set to go up, and then we had more Avengers trailers, then we had WrestleMania. So very, very busy weekend. But I want to go ahead and just drop this video and give my thoughts on the Joker trailer and kind of what I've been seeing some people say. I've seen some people state that they believe that the Joker trailer is not characteristic of the Joker in the comic books, which I feel is a very strange criticism because there have been literally dozens of Jokers portrayed in various forms of media, not just in the comics. You've got the Cesar Romero Joker from the old Batman TV show, Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger. You've got Jared Leto. You've got Mark Hamill. That's just the big ones. There's so many more. And in the comics, there's lots of different origin stories for the Joker. This is a different Joker, and the movie's about the Joker. And presumably based on the trailer, he's not even going to fight Batman, even though they show a very young Bruce Wayne and Thomas Wayne in the film. So it could end up being like an origin story for a new movie. They don't even show him fighting Batman. Now, this movie, even though it's being produced by DC Comics and Warner Brothers and whatnot, is not part of the DCEU. This does not fit in with Shazam, Justice League, Batman v Superman. It's a different continuity. Now, whether or not they're going to take this continuity and make it into its own spin-off cinematic universe, which they could very well do, that remains to be seen. But I feel like that would confuse people because there are already people now who are confused about this movie, and I mean the casuals. Same thing when Venom came out. When Venom came out, people thought it was part of the MCU. Until you actually learn more and go into it, most casual folks who don't really go online to read up on movie news thought it was a part of the MCU. This is a brand new story. Obviously, Jared Leto's Joker is the one that's in the DCEU. Now, that being said, I'm okay with this movie. It's a little bit weird to me that they're actually putting the movie out while having the DCEU still be around and still be a thing. Especially since they have plans with Suicide Squad 2, which we can assume the Joker will be in that, but who really knows? But as far as my thoughts on the film, first of all, Joaquin Phoenix is a great actor. Great actor. He's definitely a guy who I think could portray an amazing Joker. The trailer looks good because this looks to be more of a cerebral, psychological thriller as opposed to it being a superhero movie, and I really, really like that. This is not a comic book movie in the traditional sense. Now, that being said, Dark Knight and that whole trilogy was also not a traditional comic book movie at all whatsoever. It was very different, very gritty. Christopher Nolan wanted to make it just very realistic, like what if Batman was real type thing, and he kind of did that in those movies. This seems to go down the same path, and I've already seen some comparisons being made that Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is going to be sort of like a combination of, I guess, Heath Ledger and maybe Jack Nicholson, where you've got that sort of feud with the Wayne family. Maybe he's going to kill Thomas Wayne in this version of the story, who knows? But you've also got, the fact that, he's kind of psychotic, and you've also got like the Killing Joke. I guess it's not really a Killing Joke adaptation at all. It's, but you can see like maybe they are going to be basing it off of that, or at least be somewhat inspired by it. The movie's being directed by Todd Phillips, and when you look into Todd Phillips's, I guess, resume or whatever, he did The Hangover, he did War Dogs, he's done a lot of like kind of comedic films, he's done Road Trip, and I don't think this movie's going to be comedic. I think there will be some funny parts, but based on the way that it's portrayed in the trailer and the way that Joaquin Phoenix is portraying the character, this looks to be a much more psychotic type of story. And it's interesting because Phillips himself said that he was inspired by Martin Scorsese films like Taxi Driver, Raging Bull. These definitely seem like there's something to that, because Robert De Niro's in this movie, and it does have that sort of dark city kind of look, and I don't mean the movie Dark City, but like that kind of grimy New York look. Obviously, it's in Gotham City. So I am enjoying that. And in this movie, his name is Arthur Fleck. That's his name in this film. It is a brand new take on Joker, without question. And he's got this, if you look at the trailer, he's got this kind of weird relationship with his mother. And I'm wondering if they're going to do something like Psycho, like Norman Bates, where his mother was part of the reason as to why he went mad. But the story being told here is that Joker, or Arthur Fleck, the story of this film is going to be that Arthur Fleck, this is Arthur Fleck's descent into madness. He was inspired to be a comedian, inspired to be somebody who can make people laugh, and that completely ends up going for the worst because something tragic happens to him. Something tragic happens to this Arthur Fleck character for him to become the Joker. And that is kind of similar to what they did in The Killing Joke. Somewhat. It's not really the same thing, but either way, I'm curious about this movie. I think if this movie comes out, it may end up opening a whole new can of worms for new movies. Like when Deadpool came out, it was a very different movie. It was ultra violent, ultra comedic. If this movie comes out, it's like a psychological thriller, we could see more movies like this. I mean, I remember Captain America Winter Soldier was more of a spy movie than a superhero movie, and I'm okay with that kind of stuff. But that being said, I feel like a lot of the thrillers and psychological superhero movies, a lot of them could just take place in the Batman universe, because a lot of his villains, his rogues gallery, are interesting, psychological, I guess, interesting case studies for people who are out of their minds. Of course, Spider-Man and other characters have that too, but really Batman, Gotham is where this kind of style fits. So let's see what happens. Anyways, sounds good to me. What did y'all think? Let me know in the comments. I'll talk to y'all very soon.